This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero, is it in you?
This is your double, single, dong, single. Other than that, how was the play? Leader Fan Radio Network.
We know it's not good baseball.
And KFAN.com. 1 minute and 48 seconds past the hour, 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Welcome back. It is a midweek edition of the Bumper to Bumper program. We are back at headquarters in lovely St. Louis Park, Minnesota, one of the Twin Cities, of course. As most of you know, Minneapolis and St. Louis Park. My name is Dan Barreiro. I'm the host of the program. Guardsy produces the show. And we're going the distance again today, he tells me. No preemptions for quite some time. 6:30 is when we wrap things up tonight. It is a 3.5 hour tour. The Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line has been rebooted, 64686. If you'd like to join the festivities, and many of you already indeed have. Twins edged today in the rubber game of the 3-game series against the Boston Red Sox, 13-1. And the ninth inning was adventuresome in the top of the ninth. That was the double, single, dong, single portion of that inning. I believe 5 runs ultimately scored in the ninth.
It's a little frustrating.
Insurance runs, one might say. Unneeded, one might also say. 13-1, just for fun. Twins now either 5 or 6 games under 500.
6.
And yet, I'm here to tell you that I'm very intrigued. I didn't think I was going to be this intrigued as the trade deadline approaches. That's tomorrow afternoon, right?
5 o'clock,
We're going to be able to go live with it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have Derek Falvey on at 5:30.
Like we did.
When he's announcing a big acquisition.
Yeah. That was quite a day.
Remember that? We were at TCO Performance
It was awesome.
Center. Yeah, it was tremendous. In any case, Carlos Correa's name has surfaced.
It has.
That's what makes this juicy to me. When people would text about him, I dismissed it out of hand, in part because I thought Correa was giving every indication he didn't want to go anywhere. He had a full no trade. And secondly, I didn't think there was anybody who really wanted him. But the Nightingales, 2 generations of Nightingales, say, not so fast, my friend. The Houston Astros are sniffing around Carlos Correa among several others. And senior Bob Nightingale, I think, has written flat out, his sources say Correa would be willing to waive his no-trade clause, and he'd even be willing to move to third base to play for his former team. He still has a home in the offseason in Houston, in the greater Houston, Texas, Gunbelt tight area.
If you ever go to Houston, got to walk right, got to keep your hands deep in your pocket and your gunbelt tight.
That's it. So now I'm intrigued. The assumption is, and this is going to be the hard part, probably why the deal won't take place, the assumption is the Twins would have to pay for a decent amount of what's left on his contract.
Oh.
Which would probably mean it's not going to happen if that's true.
Right.
Now, how rich a franchise is Houston? Do they have so much money they don't care?
Probably have oil money.
They could say, well, fine, we'll write the check. We're done with it. So that's now become the intrigue. It's certainly not the team, which I think has gotten the message that we're done. And they're saying, okay, we agree. We're done, and maybe we're going to kind of mail it in the rest of the way, especially now that we're playing better teams. But
Houston Astros have a payroll of $221 million.
So that's chicken feed for them.
Which puts them at 15th in baseball.
What does he make a year? Is it 40? 30?
I thought it was 35.
35?
But I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's nothing for them. Another $35 million? That's an easy check for them to write. So I guess that's what we have to watch. That's the intrigue now, right? Is because we're at a point. It feels to me as if the local ball guys have utterly and completely turned on Correa. I mean, they went from nothing but fawning to underperforming. What's he done? What's the big deal about Carlos Correa? So my sense of it is they wouldn't be devastated, especially as he gets longer in the tooth and seems to be, it feels like maybe, I won't say it's over for him, but that he's nowhere near, he's not going to like redefine himself or get a second chapter going where he looks like the player we remember, right? That baseball remembers at his very best. And let's face it, we really haven't had him for long at his best.
No.
Truth be told, because there have been injury issues. It was weird. The year we finally broke the playoff losing streak, he was ordinary during the season, and then he was a star in the postseason.
You're right. 2 years ago, I
Correct.
do.
And he's had, plantar fasciitis issues. This year, his power numbers are an embarrassment. There's not any way, any other way you can put it. So I would say, if you can, well, I was about to say, if you can unload him with the way this team operates, you're better off doing it. And then I said, wait a minute, this team is supposed to have new ownership coming. And maybe they would treat stories like this differently than this team would. But because I'm so conditioned by this team, the way it's run with the Pohlads, will take advantage of every opportunity they can to make excuses about not spending more money, including, well, we got this big Correa contract. I mean, what do you want us to do? You guys wanted us to get him. You guys said do it. And now, but now we're hamstrung by it. So you certainly can't expect us to get another big contract or even a semi-big contract, right? Maybe it would change with new ownership. I don't know. But I tend to think Correa is damaged enough now, and I don't want to say mediocre, but diminished from what we remember, that whether you're talking about this ownership or the new ownership team, given the condition of the club, you're probably better off exploring those avenues. I don't know what kind of thing you get for him at this point, right? That's one of the questions.
It is.
And maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe all you care about is getting out from under the contract, because he's got, you looked it up the other day, isn't it 3 more years?
He's got 3 years after this year, 26, 27, 28.
You can make the argument that you don't have to be a skinflint. You don't have to be a Pohlad to say, well, it's a bad deal now. If you can get out from under it for 3 more years, God knows what he's going to be like in 2 or 3 more years. You go ahead and do it. And I tend to agree with that as a guy who I think we both had good feelings about him. The sadness I would have if that were to take place is the obvious, is that you wanted to believe, because he was such a prime big league ball player, you felt like the franchise was authenticated a little bit. Like, well, this is the kind of player we never get.
Exactly right.
At whatever price. We don't get a Carlos Correa, right? And it felt like you could kind of, stick your chest out and say, yeah, Carlos Correa plays for us, plays for the Twins. But the payoff has not been very good, even though at his best he does represent. I mean, he obviously has always been a terrific fielder. He carries himself like a cornerstone big league ball player. But the problem is it's fairly apparent he's no longer capable of being that guy, correct?
Seems like it, certainly at the plate. And you're right. I remember vividly, it was late spring training, I think, or late winter when they signed him. And it was a 3-year contract with the 1 year out, right? So essentially it was a 1 year contract, but you loved the creativity of it.
Correct.
You loved taking the chance on it. And then obviously a couple of deals for him fell through, right?
Yes.
New York and San Francisco for him to have to come back here.
That's the only way we got him.
But it was still, I thought, a good risk worth taking. And it is too bad because it's something that they've never done, rarely ever will do. And that's why I always pulled for it to work.
Yeah, I think that's the reason all of us did. And again, if we are really going to see an ownership change, a lot of this maybe become immaterial. But I would say, whether you're talking about old or new, you can make, very fairly, I believe, persuasively the argument that if Houston's, desperate enough given their position and they got the built-in equity with them, and he'll say, fine, send me back to Houston, gun belt tight. I think you have to do it. And, it leaves another huge hole because he was considered one of your main guys, but he hasn't really played like one of your main guys for a while. And you can again argue he really hasn't consistently since he's come here. He really hasn't. And maybe we're finding out why the other teams flunked the physical.
Maybe.
Because he has had physical issues that have reared their heads several times through this period of time. So we'll see where that goes. But my ears perked up. We're not going to perk up until somebody reported, well, yeah, he'd waive the no trade for Houston. I'm sure it's likely he might not do that for some other teams, but that he would for Houston.
I
so
think
if
that's
accurate,
yeah.
That to me is what changes everything. And you have to take a long look at it and see if indeed might be possible. There's a part of me that says if you do make the move on Correa, I'm even less interested in trading Joe Ryan. You can't get rid of all of your assets, even though he's a diminished asset. Correa is. He's still a big league ball player, and I don't want to keep. I don't want to start over because at some point you keep trading these pieces. That's exactly what you're going to do. By the way, did you see what Chris Paddock did today?
I did. I think Lavelle tweeted about it, right?
I think it was 6 or 7 innings, 1 run, no walks, 6 hits. Yep. Brilliant.
Re-energized.
Yeah.
Re-energized.
Wouldn't you be?
Yes.
How many games in the standings did Joe Ryan gain?
Chris Paddock, you mean?
Excuse me, Joe Ryan. Chris Paddock gain by moving from Minnesota to Detroit. Can you do that math? I doubt it.
Well, he gained about 12.
12 games?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Because we're 12 games back.
Going from a team that is virtually eliminated from postseason competition to a team that probably even has some aspirations of doing something once it gets there. Detroit has a double-digit lead in the division, correct? So they're going to win the division.
Yep, they're in there.
They're in good shape. So there you have it. I got some text to get to early. We'll give you the guest lineup. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give a little bit of that, all of that now. Kessler will join in studio as usual at 5:30 this afternoon. In addition, speaking of baseball, this is a perfect day to have our old crusty, curmudgeonly baseball guy, Kevin Kernan, on the show. And we'll get his reaction to the Correa steam. He might know something about that. A little bit more about the Twins' condition. A little bit more about other things that are stuck in his craw when it comes to Major League Baseball, because there's always something stuck in Kevin Kernan's craw when it comes to baseball. Those are the guests for today, and we'll welcome your texts as always.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero, is it in you?
From Rochester, what is Target Field going to look like in September when football fires up again? Anybody, any fan in the stands is guaranteed to get a foul ball. It's going to be vacant. It's been vacant.
I was going to say,
season.
What's the distinction?
But it will get school time, the whole bit. There'll be games where there's probably 800 or 900 people in the stands. Okay, maybe a little more than that, but not much.
Not much. They've got a low season ticket base.
Not much at all. When do we get to start hearing from Gerby? I meant to talk to Guardsy about this. I believe we should try to get the next time we're at Vikings practice, at training camp.
Really?
Maybe even that means tomorrow. No, Friday.
We're there Friday.
Yep. Maybe Friday we try to get him or cold call him or something. Just to get the juices going.
Sure.
People are ready, I think. I think they actually like when we leave Gerby alone for a while.
Yeah.
But now I think, because it allows you to get the juices recharged. You get going again. And now people are clamoring for him.
Did you see the Gerby Twitter update?
No.
He's got
the
a
photo?
real profile pic now.
Is that him or is that... Because he likes to stay incognito.
I know.
So is that him trying to throw people off?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
He'll probably tell us.
I hope he does. Can we get someone to do a nerd count for Kernan? Yeah, well, the last segment, or last time we had him on, he didn't invoke it much.
Not much.
But I think he sounds fired up today. We'll see. If we punt on Correa, right, 612 guy, I wouldn't call it full-blown calamitous, but it will still feel like a Minnesota kick in the pants, a big-name acquisition that falls flat once he's in our uniform. I agree. I don't think anybody should celebrate. In that sense, you might celebrate that you got the contract off the books here. But in a larger sense, it should be disappointing because it's a sign of failure, in a way. It's a sign that he didn't live up to it long enough. On the other hand, again, he was good when we finally, broke out of the longest playoff losing streak in North American history, team history.
Yes.
But is that enough to sustain you? No. In all, when you say if you were to move on from him, then no, it shouldn't feel good. Because when you do it, the hope is he's going to finish his career with you, right? And he's going to have a number of very good seasons yet, because it wasn't like he came here at the age of 38.
That's the difference. We've done the aging superstar bit over the years, right? In a lot of different sports. We've done the guy that's looking for 1 or 2 more years, might have something left. We've never done the guy that's kind of still in his prime.
No.
And have to pay market value for him. We'd never really done that.
No, we never
You could argue the market value changed a little bit because of the different types of contracts that he signed.
Well, we have in basketball and football. We just never have in baseball.
Right.
Yeah. And never will. Well, who knows? With new owners.
New owners, maybe they will.
Very hard to say. Joey Chestnut ate more hot dogs on the 4th of July than the Twins will sell in September. That's the comedic stylings of one Maury Amsterdam guy.
Well, how many hot dogs did he eat?
Amsterdam.
It might not be a joke.
Very, very true as well. I had something. Oh, give us the other update you passed along to me during the break. Also, was it Nightingale related?
The original Nightingale.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob. Minnesota Twins, this is an hour ago, expected to trade closer Johan Duran by the end of the day, with the Los Angeles Dodgers in strong pursuit. The Twins have also been in heavy discussions with the Phillies, but have not lowered their asking price of prized pitching prospect Andrew Painter.
Painter's good.
Is he good?
I've watched him. I'll pretend I know that he's good.
Where is he in the
That's
top
what everybody
100?
else does.
Baseball Prospectus.
Oh, I'm sure he's top 10.
Baseball America.
Unbelievable. Well, the Dodgers...
They can do anything.
They can, and they have a million prospects because... somebody mentioned this, and there's some truth to this. In theory, or in practice, what you hope you get if you trade your closer is maybe a prospect or two, but a major leaguer. But the fact is, the teams that are interested in him, they want all their major leaguers right now because they're going for something, right?
Correct.
So then you're back to realistically, that's what you're going to get, and then it's a matter of, how much you get, how many of those you get, and how good they are. And even if you have them ranked a certain way and you get the ones you want, there's never any guarantee. So that's sort of the extent of it. I haven't studied. Has Correa still been good this year? I guess I haven't paid. Again, when the team's, kind of stuck in the mire, it's hard to know. But again, I would rather we not. I think what I said a couple days ago, I'll stick with. I don't want Ryan dealt, and I'm okay with one of the two relievers being dealt.
Yeah.
Now, I think my preference was to punt on the other one,
Griffin Jax,
right? But there are a lot of people who say, well, Jax can, it's fine. He can do that, or you give him more responsibility. And it is true. I think even this team has done a decent job. It's the one area maybe you can say they have done a decent job is building and refurbishing bullpens, finding arms to do that. So, again, on the face of it, I'd rather, because I'm just used to Duran at the back end, and everybody loves his stuff, but if the Dodgers have so much talent that they can afford to give up a couple of their best prospects, then I guess you would consider it. I just hope we don't trade. Now I'm wondering, maybe we're at a point where we're just going to trade everybody away. I don't know what Falvey is thinking at this point.
Problem is, a lot of these guys still have control left, right?
Exactly. All of them do.
Like team control.
Team control. All
That's
of them
the thing.
do. Yes.
So it does have to
all
be
three of those pitchers, yeah. So that should add, because that's an advantage for the other team as well. But that's then you're giving them that advantage, and you're losing that advantage. So you're exactly right. It should be very, very significant. So I don't know. How big of a blow is it to a guy going from being a Dodger to a run-of-the-mill AAA team? I guess he's talking about what the players we would get in return.
Yeah.
But
everybody wants a shot, though.
But the truth is, the guy's probably pitching in AAA right now, so he'd say, "Oh yeah, this feels very comfortable when I go to the Twins." So I say, this might feel a little bit. That it's possible the Dodgers AAA team is slightly better than our big league team.
It's possible, and he would get to go to St. Paul and see the newly unveiled Stone Arch Bridge.
Yes, that's true.
That's the beauty of it. He'd get to go to St. Paul and live there and play in that beautiful ballpark.
What was the latest example of that bit being nurtured and confirmed? Somebody sent to both of us. It was another image or photo of something going on in St. Paul with an image of the Stone Arch Bridge.
Wasn't it the Yacht Festival or something? It was the Yacht
Club
Rock
thing?
Festival. Yeah, the Yacht Club thing.
The Yacht Club thing.
That's what it was, I think. The concert in St. Paul with the Stone Arch Bridge.
Is that where the Yacht Club is? I don't even know.
I think so.
St. Paul? Okay.
I'm not in it.
It's happened so many times that I almost think now people are in on the bid.
I know.
Who do make these decisions with these groups? It's like, you got to know there's no Stone Arch in St. Paul.
Or they didn't really know and just heard us say it so much that they assumed.
Yeah.
Maybe we accidentally influenced them to just assume it was there.
Which is the bigger flop? The Carlos Correa signing or Ricky Nolasco? Ricky Nolasco, that's not close. Correa at least did give us a postseason moment. I mean, expensive overall, but he did give us a postseason. And he still is a good fielding shortstop.
Was Nolasco the pitcher that just left the ballpark in the last game?
I think that's the one, yeah. I'm not positive, but I think that's the one.
I'm going to have to Google that. Josh Donaldson's another one.
Did you see, did Correa play it? No, he didn't play today. He got pulled from the game yesterday. There was an in-game interview on the FSN broadcast. What do we call it now? Bally? Whatever we call it these days.
Right now it's just the Twins channel.
Just the Twins channel, you're right. With Rocco. And Rocco says, we're pulling Carlos. He's kind of, I thought he said he's kind of dizzy.
Yeah.
Well, then the report was suffering from a migraine.
Yep.
He didn't play again today, and usually that's the suspicion of, about to be traded. But in this case, that just might be a coincidence. But he did not, I don't think he was ever in the lineup today, right?
Correct.
Is he migraine guy?
Apparently.
Okay.
I mean, just add it to the list.
Yeah.
Migraines aren't good.
Yeah. This guy this person's a little more suspicious. Correa needs to go with his fake injury with a speck of dust in his eye last night when he ran to first base. And now he's out. He took himself out of the game. That's quite an allegation.
Yeah, people are down on him, man.
Man, they've turned. We were so excited that he liked us. He really liked us. And now we're going to get out from under pretty much all of it, right? Isn't that how it feels?
It does. It feels like there's a lot of water under the bridge now.
When we come back, attempting to explain the inexplicable. That's next year.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero, is it in you?
FAN.
Do you have a pencil, Guardsy? Or a pen?
I have a pen,
one.
yeah.
You have a pen? Will you write this down?
Yep, I'm getting some paper here.
Okay.
Got to get a Post-it. Go ahead.
If J.J. McCarthy, this could take some work, but you're the first person I think of when it comes to solving this kind of equation. If J.J. McCarthy realizes what he said today is his goal, to get 2% better in each practice, by what percentage will he be better at the end of the Vikings training camp?
Oh, boy. Well, how many practices will they have?
That's it. That's what you have to figure out.
Okay.
So if
Are we counting walkthroughs?
If his goal is to get 2% better in each practice, if he follows through on that, what percentage will he be at as the Vikings prepare for their regular season opener? That's all I'm asking. Someone out there will figure it out for us because I don't think either one of us is capable.
Well, I have some questions, obviously. Is he at a certain percentage now, or are we saying, in 15 practices, is he going to be 30% better than he is right now?
Yeah, I think it's all based on, the way he said it, apparently. Today, for example.
Yeah.
He thinks, I'm assuming, that at the end of practice today, he's going to be, it's probably over by now.
Yeah.
2% better than he was yesterday.
Well, if it was yesterday's practice, I'm hoping for 4 or 5% better.
Wow. Vicious. I mean, you're trying a little too hard for the Brosmer Brownstone thing. Come on, calm down.
He had a good practice today, it sounds like.
Another one?
JJ raved about him.
Which JJ?
McCarthy.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's self-deprecating. That's just
Patronizing?
playing the game. Yeah, he's just patting him on the head, pretty much. Yeah, somebody will be able to figure this out for us. So, will he be 62% better, 52? And then I guess you still don't know how good that means he is, because you're right, it all depends on what he was at the start of the process.
Where are we starting?
But
yeah.
somehow he's decided to spout this. I don't know where he got this. Is this a Harbaughism?
Probably.
You're going to get 2%. Don't overstate it. Don't overdo it. If you just get 2% better every practice. See, if I were him, I'd have gone 1% because the math's easier.
Well, I think that was always what I'd heard.
1%?
Was just try to get one, because it does make sense when you are about the process. If you just improve incrementally every single day, you might not notice it tomorrow, but in 3 weeks, all of a sudden, you're much better. That is not that groundbreaking, right? Every coach and life goal person talks about that stuff all the time.
How, by the way, did we miss one of the emerging stories from yesterday's session?
Which was?
How did we miss it? It looks to me like it's video captured by Kevin Seifert of KOC juggling 2 tennis balls in a football in the middle of practice.
I did see that.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's impressive.
Right before Seifert came by, I think.
It's impressive. Now, he didn't sustain it, but he, and then he ended up with the football. He kicked it. It's a smart thing to do. When when the balls start falling, you're not controlling them anymore. Then that's the best. You kick the ball like this is all part of my plan.
Does it surprise you that KOC can do that?
No, I guess it does.
Me neither.
It doesn't surprise me.
Were you much of a juggler? Could you juggle?
No, I could juggle. No, I couldn't juggle at all, actually. I could juggle 2 baseballs I could juggle. That was it.
That doesn't
and that's
count.
not that impressive.
No, that doesn't count.
Can you do 3?
Yeah.
You could?
Yeah.
Regularly? Well, it's the tennis dexterity in you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we used to do it every once in a while. And
what did you use?
Whatever you have. But
Okay,
tennis balls, yeah.
You could do tennis
balls. You're just messing
easily.
around and you're doing the 3 tennis balls.
Could you do 2 tennis balls in a football?
We could try it at the state fair.
Maybe that's
I'd be happy to try it.
Yeah, it's a
I
possibility.
like juggling 2 in one hand, and you just have to keep throwing, one at a time, up and up and up.
Are we bringing back the makeout contest this year? There were rumors about that. In 2025?
Yeah.
How about, should we do a laugh off? Doesn't do much for you?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to think who's usually there.
Yeah. Well, you got to recruit people for the laugh off. I think the makeout contest, we're never going to have difficulty getting people.
No, we didn't that year.
We definitely didn't that year. That was a good 10 years ago, would you say?
That was like 15 years ago. That was one of the first years I was out there with you.
Probably true.
Alan Page only had to wait 1 extra segment for us to finish that.
Garzi regularly juggles 7 jobs.
That's true.
Yeah. Has Jax been auditioning to stay here, or Twins getting less to deal him? He's had 2 bad outings in the last week. Probably be better when he comes de facto closer by tomorrow. Yeah, he had some difficulties again today. There's no question about that. All right. So explaining the inexplicable, that's sort of the story in reaction to the carnage that took place inside a Park Avenue building on Monday. Of course, this is the story of a 27-year-old man named Shane Tamura of Las Vegas. He walks into the lobby of the Park Avenue building. He's got a rifle in his right hand. He shoots and kills an NYPD officer working an off-duty security shift, then an unarmed security guard, and a Blackstone executive. He eventually also he shoots himself, is what we've been told by authorities. And the stories being written now are sort of like, well, so this building, by security standards, was considered pretty airtight. Concrete planters, the sidewalk. So you got security guards in the lobby. You got video cameras monitoring movement. You've got significant access procedures where visitors have to register in advance, then enter through what's described as a limited number of doors and pass security gates to reach elevators. So as a result of the fact that this individual did the damage that he did, people are saying, well, what happened here? Do we need to rethink security procedures inside any large buildings, any buildings that house, a great number of employees, etc.? And my own view on this is, now again, everything should be examined in terms of how security responded in this situation, certainly. Just like there's still reviews going on about what took place, how long ago has it been since we had the assassinations here? A month?
Probably a little longer.
Even longer than that. About we haven't even talked about it. There's a Star Tribune story that got a lot of pushback, I think, from law enforcement authorities regarding some of the law enforcement activity that night. That's all fair game to look at. But there's a former FBI special agent and now a kind of a security and threat mitigation guy who the Wall Street Journal approached regarding this issue. And I think he lays bare the dirty little secret here. If you're encountering a threat actor, an assailant who is willing to trade his life for yours, it's extremely difficult to defend. And I think that's the sobering answer. The idea that we've got to do a better job of protecting people. I don't know that there's enough money in the world to make that practical. And I would also add, at any given moment, are you going to be, if you're doing the job that was done that day at Park Avenue building, I'm not saying you relax too much. I'm not saying you're not under your guard, but there's no way, I think, that you can stay at your most vigilant every single minute, especially if you've done the job for a period of time and there's never even been anything close to a threat. So I know people, we always, after stories like this, we want answers and we got to change this. We got to protect people better. And I'm not here to say that a single organization shouldn't take a second look at what it has done to try to improve it, to do what you can do, even if it's someone this desperate who is willing to lose their own life to take out the lives of others. That's all fair game. But I think what we're most uncomfortable with is the truth, is what this guy said, that there's no miracle answer to this. There's no miracle elixir that's going to make sure we're all, quote unquote, 100% safe. When someone with that kind of firepower, and clearly in his own mind, as delusional as it may have been, a cause, a grievance, is intent on doing something wrong. Now, as it turns out, as we said yesterday, he went in the wrong door, right?
Right.
But I just think there are limits, no matter how many reviews that you do. Now, that, again, we've had a lot of discussion about what to do at the state capitol. And I'm firmly in the group on that says, well, there you can do a lot.
Yeah.
Including starting with metal detectors. Now, I don't know in this building whether that was something he had to go through. Maybe this guy, the bad guy, rendered that irrelevant. I'm not sure. But don't you think? I mean, I just think there are limits. We always want this magic formula, but this is what we don't want to live with, is the scariest part, is someone this desperate and this willing to go this far. It's always going to be a challenge to stop that person before they do bad things.
It is. We go through life with a certain level of trust. It's like a compact with other people that we're all living around, right? That we just think you're on the road, you're going to drive a certain way. You're downtown, you're at a building, there's going to be safety. Like, that's just the kind of the pact we all live in with each other, right? A certain level of trust. You can't control everything. And these buildings in New York, I mean, all these buildings, think about how many buildings there are in New York. All of them, the office buildings, certainly, and even the residences with doormen and things like that, they've always taken security very seriously, especially at these office buildings, these huge skyscrapers in New York City.
Yes.
It's probably not a more secure place in the world, sadly, because this can still happen. But I don't know if anything needs to be reinvented or recreated. Obviously, you got to pay attention to your own processes and make sure you're doing everything you can. But at some point, there isn't a defense for it, sadly.
345 Park Avenue, Wall Street Journal writes, appear to do nearly everything right from a security standpoint, says the aforequoted Tim Gallagher. The building where the National Football League, Blackstone, accounting firm KPMG, and real estate management firm Rudin Management have offices, had an off-duty New York City Police Department officer stationed in the lobby using an advanced automated video surveillance system. At least one or two security guards manned a front desk. To access a series of elevator banks reaching upper floors, workers had to scan a badge at turnstiles that opened modern glass gates. Such a multi-layered security program is widely seen as best practice. Security, he says, tight. The governor was asked about this, talking to CNN. I don't know how you get more secure than what they already seem to have in place. And again, recalibrating at a time like this, maybe it's the kind of thing. Maybe there are companies that already know deep down that they should add some things, and they are capable of doing that. Maybe this is the kind of story, sadly, that spurs them to, we can't put this off anymore. And that's all good. So, taking another look and even considering the possibility of what you have in place isn't that good, because at the very least, you want to create as much of a challenge for whoever shows up, right? That's all fair. But I think it's what you said. There's, and this is why these stories are so, what's the word I'm looking for? Frustrating or dehumanizing, that there's that built-in pact where we go, well, this is just stuff that, we're just going to assume that that most people, that almost all people are at a level where they're not going to go and do this sort of damage. Tom in Minneapolis, Dan, do you think maybe civilians don't need to have access to military-grade assault rifles? I have no problem with, we've talked about this a million times. The problem with this politically is it sounds cool to say, my God, we got to get the guns out. But we've got, what's the last number I saw? Was it 400 million firearms in the country?
It's a lot of them.
It's the old deal of, and people who have this intent generally find ways to do it. You're not going to get me to argue with the most draconian gun laws possible nationwide. I have no problem with that. But if you think that's the elixir, you're leaving out where we are and how many we have and how much access there is already here. And because you're not going to be able to burn them all. You're not going to be able to confiscate them all, I don't think. So as part of the solution, yeah, I've quoted from stories before in publications, including The Atlantic, that have laid out the numbers of guns that are already there. You can make this proclamation, and even, from this point forward, you can no longer sell this kind of gun, and you still have probably 500 million. Not necessarily just this weapon, but many others as well. But on the question of, I guess, again, security, the demands of how does this happen? How can this possibly happen? Well, it's because other than, I guess, having a system in which what would have prevented there? A bulletproof glass window that stays closed until a guard somehow is able to identify the person approaching that building, right, as working in that building. Barring that, I'm not exactly sure what you might have been able to do to prevent someone who is this committed, sadly, to create this kind of terror and carnage.
Especially when the end game is he's going to kill himself, right? That's the other thing. When they have no fear or worry for the consequence of what they're going to do, it's just there's just not much you can do about that.
When they're not worried about self-preservation, you're exactly right. There's just nothing that you could do. Somebody said, I just tuned in. What happened? Well, this was Monday. I think most people know about this story. This is what took place in Manhattan, in New York, where an individual who felt, apparently, according to the writings he left behind, a belief that the NFL had not done enough to deal with the CTE issue and that he suffered from CTE. He decides to drive cross-country from Vegas, I think, correct? And eventually ends up in New York, parks, and then goes into what he's trying to get into what he believes is the building that houses the National Football League headquarters, and he did get in that. That was the right building, but apparently took a wrong turn and ended up in the wrong office. How much more damage he could have done, I have absolutely no idea.
Have you seen the update on how he acquired the gun?
No.
That popped, I think, a little bit earlier today. They're still working out some details, but the gun he purchased, he didn't buy it himself from a store. It was purchased by a casino supervisor that he knew, and then he sold that gun to the shooter here in Manhattan. Because that's the other problem that you run into. With the gun laws, of course, that we have some that are in place about who can buy what and when they can buy and all of that. But that right there, about as easy a loophole as you can possibly come up with.
Which is scary in of itself.
Totally.
Dan, longtime security expert. I'm glad we're having the real discussion that other experts are saying. If someone wants to walk up with a weapon, there's really nothing security can do. Turnstiles, jump them. Elevator keys, grab one off the initial target. Cameras, not proactive armed guards, initial target. Again, that none of that means you don't try to be vigilant, try to make changes, review the security features that you indeed have and whether you can improve upon them. Because then the game is, well, can we just make it more difficult, right? Because there's a lot of cases where the security has, to that extent, probably prevented more significant harm or injury. The examples are endless in that regard.
And just having those deterrents probably stop people. Or people don't think, I can get through this, right? I mean, a lot of these are just for the illusion of safety or the illusion that you can't.
Yes.
It's going to take a lot for you to get through this. Right? So that deters people probably,
Correct.
I would assume.
Yeah, so at least some, yes.
That obviously this individual and some others aren't going to be deterred by anything, but for the most part, you kind of understand it's difficult to do what this person just did.
Yeah, 100% true. It's a humanity problem when we have people celebrating Blackstone exec being murdered. It's a problem. Only possible solution is attention to mental illness, which is just as impossible. Well, we've talked about that part of it as well. We've a lot of states have red flag laws as it pertains to trying also then to keep dangerous firearms out of the hands of individuals who seem maladjusted, who seem compromised, who seem then more capable of acting on whatever the sick impulses that guide them and that carry them forward. And I have not argued with any of them. I think the tougher the better. But we've had many attorneys on over the years, including the late, great Ron Rosenbaum, the late, great Joe Friedberg, who said, well, there's also limits. There's a balancing act that you have to do there that has to do with a person's individual rights. It's complicated. It's not, as much as we want it to be easy, sadly, I don't think it's easy as well. Easy at all. Research how he got the gun. He built it. Somebody's saying he built it. You've got other information that he got it from someone else, correct?
The most recent ESPN story said police, let me just scroll down this. On Tuesday, police mistakenly said the supervisor had supplied only parts of the rifle used in the attack, including the weapon's lower receiver. But they're now saying that his supervisor at the Horseshoe Las Vegas legally bought the AR-15 style rifle he sold to Tamura for $1,400. So this indicates it was an actual gun and not parts that he built. Police mistakenly said yesterday it was parts that he then built the gun.
This is from emailer, let me see the name here. This is from BW. Nailed it. You cannot put the toothpaste back in. Suicidal individuals cannot be regulated, period. Taking guns out of the hands, let me scroll down here, of law-abiding citizens makes it worse, as hard as it is to appreciate. That's Brandon. I don't know that I necessarily accept that premise. I know that's what people want to believe is, well, you're taking then you can't protect yourself. I'm not sure I buy that necessarily, but the issue is we've got so much firepower that's already out that it just becomes incomplete and a little bit performative to make it sound like, no more guns. It sounds wonderful, but once you say it, what does it mean in a real world sense? That's the issue. Now, on the other hand, I've said this for years because I get the people who are anti-gun control. They go, well, check out Chicago. They got some of the toughest gun control laws in the country. And I'd say, well, let's be clear about gun control laws. First of all, they're not going to always work, particularly in vulnerable areas. That's 100% true. But beyond that, the only true test of understanding what impact real gun control could have is it has to be nationwide. Does it not? It has to be consistent, all 50 states. Because otherwise, I think logically could say, well, yeah, Chicago can have tough gun laws, but if Indiana laws aren't as tough, Gary, Indiana is 30 miles away. There's a million ways to do this. So I've never bought the notion that proves gun control laws are weak or meaningless. We're only really going to know that one way or the other if the gun control laws are somehow consistent around the country. And unfortunately, sadly, they are not. We've got lots to get to. Kessler will join in studio at 5:30 tonight. Our old ball guy, Kevin Kernan, will join at 4:30. We'll see what he's hearing about the possibility that the Twins are going to continue to be quite active at the trade deadline, and even the possibility that Carlos Correa might go back to Houston, gun belt tight. And I have a hunch he'll have something he's unhappy about when it comes to Major League Baseball. You know what else we'll ask him about? Does he think a salary cap is practical?
I was wondering if you would.
That came up. Some player attacked. Who was the player who attacked the commissioner?
Wasn't it Harper?
In the clubhouse. It was Harper.
Yeah.
Basically bleeped him and said, don't even come in here with it. Then he said later he was kind of half kidding, half serious about it. And it was salary cap related, right? So we'll get to all of that with Kernan in about 30 minutes.
Gatorade Zero, the #1 proven electrolyte blend, made with zero sugar. Designed to hydrate better than water so you can lose more sweat and push more limits. Gatorade Zero, is it in you?